Most people think investing is difficult, not because it actually is, but because the internet has turned a simple process into a maze of charts, predictions, hot stock tips, and people claiming they've discovered the secret to getting rich overnight. If I lost everything today, no portfolio, no investments, no financial head start, and had to start from zero with nothing but a regular income and a smartphone, here's exactly what I would do. The first thing I'd focus on is choosing where to invest. This is the decision that stops a surprising number of beginners, not because it's complicated, but because there are simply too many choices. Every platform claims to be the best. Every advertisement promises simplicity. Every influencer seems to have a favorite, and somehow all those options make the decision even harder. So instead of asking which platform is the most popular, I'd ask a few simple questions. Is it regulated? Is it secure? Are the fees reasonable? And most importantly, can I actually understand how to use it? Because the best investing platform isn't necessarily the one with the flashiest features. It's the one you'll consistently use for years. Once that's done, I'd move on to something many beginners completely overlook: the type of account they're using. This is where people sometimes lose money without even realizing it. Not because they picked bad investments, because they ignored taxes. Different account types exist for different purposes. Some are designed for long-term investing. Some are designed for retirement. Some offer tax advantages that can make a huge difference over time. Think of investing accounts like containers. The investments inside might be exactly the same, but the container changes the outcome. Choosing the right account may not sound exciting, but it can quietly save you a significant amount of money over the years. After that comes the moment everyone remembers: the first investment, the first share, the first time you become a part owner of something. And this is usually where people start overthinking everything. They begin searching for the perfect stock, the next big winner, the hidden opportunity nobody else has noticed. But beginners don't need perfection, they need participation. Because investing $1 teaches more than reading 100 articles. The moment real money is involved, investing stops being a theory and becomes an experience. And experience is where real learning begins. Now here's something most people don't expect. Investing isn't mainly a knowledge problem, it's an emotional problem. People buy when everyone is excited. They panic when everyone is afraid. They chase trends. They follow hype. They react to headlines, and they mistake activity for progress. The market doesn't usually reward excitement, it rewards patience, which is why many successful investors look boring from the outside. They're not constantly making dramatic moves, they're simply staying consistent. One approach I like is thinking of a portfolio as multiple baskets instead of one. Imagine one basket containing large established companies, another holding international businesses, and another providing stability. The exact investments aren't the important part here. The principle is, instead of betting everything on one company, you're spreading risk across many different opportunities. That may sound less exciting than trying to find the next superstar stock, but excitement and investing rarely make a good combination. The next lesson is one of the most important. Consistency beats intensity. Most people assume wealth comes from giant investments. Often it doesn't. It comes from repetition, investing regularly, month after month, year after year. A single contribution might seem insignificant, but hundreds of contributions create a completely different result. And that's where one of the most powerful forces in finance begins to work: compounding. Compounding is strange because it doesn't look impressive in the beginning. At first, progress feels painfully slow, almost invisible. But eventually, your money starts generating returns. Those returns generate more returns. And those returns generate even more returns. It's like a snowball rolling downhill. Small at first, then bigger again, until the growth becomes impossible to ignore. The challenge is that most people quit before they reach that stage, not because compounding doesn't work, because it works too slowly for impatient people. Another lesson I'd learned early is that knowing when not to sell is often just as important as knowing when to buy. Everyone talks about buying investments. Very few people talk about holding them. Markets go up, markets go down, markets panic, markets recover. And every cycle creates opportunities for emotional decision. The hardest part of investing is sometimes doing absolutely nothing. That doesn't mean you should never sell. There are times when selling makes perfect sense. Maybe your goals have changed. Maybe your circumstances are different. Maybe the reason you originally invested no longer exists. The important thing is having a reason, not a reaction. Good investing isn't about about being stubborn, it's about being disciplined. After all the charts, strategies, platforms, and financial jargon, investing becomes surprisingly simple. Earn money, invest regularly, stay diversified, ignore unnecessary noise, and give the process enough time to work. Because wealth rarely arrives overnight. It arrives slowly, quietly, almost invisibly, until one day people look at the results and assume you got lucky, even though the real secret was consistency all along. And if I had to start investing from zero today, that's exactly how I'd do it.